Hello everyone, I'm Shufflecat and welcome to Play It Like You Know It. Today I'm playing Astronomer. We'll be joined by Vexation. He'll be coaching my play and giving us tips and advice. Vexation, I heard that you have a YouTube channel. Can you tell us a bit about that?
I do. It recently just started, and right now I'm just collecting a series of clips, and I'm in the process of releasing a introductory how-to astronomer video this upcoming weekend.
Awesome. And in that it will be covering kind of like cooldown management and that sort of thing?
Yeah, I'm looking to address some of the traits, medallions, uses of the abilities, uses of EXs, and the situational awareness that comes with those.
Awesome, awesome. And you can find that at, let me see if I can remember it. Nope, that's not it, Jason. And there it is. You can find that at youtube.com at the link at the bottom of your screen right now, if that's showing up properly.
Yep, it should be V for Vexation would be my account name. So
Oh,
if
is
you
that what
want
it
to search
was?
for that, yep.
For
So
some
if you
reason.
search for that, you'll be able to find my streams.
Awesome. Okay, so here we're going to look at a couple of replays of mine. I was playing in a 2v2 team with a glutton. All of these replays were specifically done for this stream. So we just made a team and just did a couple of games. And we're playing up against Alchemist and Glutton. What do you suggest kind of like the opener for this?
As an opener, I would just kind of zone around. Their glutton's eventually going to come in, and the biggest thing you'd really want to watch out for is avoiding the right click from glutton and getting pulled in. Both targets on their team are very easy. Alex, one of my favorite kill targets as an Astro in twos, just to the great effect that Moonburst has on them, but glutton's also pretty killable as well.
I see. So I'm starting off with the Stone Shield. Is it a good idea to use your
Your
stone?
stream froze again, so.
Ah,
Yep, sorry about that.
we can fix that. We absolutely can. And you can also go to my stream in order to watch my screen, but you're gonna have a slight delay on it.
Alright.
All right. So anyway, I was asking about. I start off with Moonstone, trying to get somebody. However, we didn't quite capitalize on that Moonstone in the very start. What would you say we should actually be initiating with?
Your glutton can honestly go in and be aggressive as long as you're there and knowing that he's going to be jumping into the fray. Or you can just kind of wait and zone around and just play that game for a while dodging the ranged attacks of the Alchemist.
Yeah. And
Eventually you'll be able to land either a Moonburst or a Moonstone, or your partner can land his right-click. I don't know Glutton's abilities names. But typically you just want to wait until something happens instead of just blindly jumping in.
I see.
I'm going to have to pull up your stream on your site really fast.
Because it froze.
Yeah, it keeps freezing on Skype, so
Oh,
give
okay.
me 1 second.
So, I don't. We didn't actually. We're not watching these videos kind of in order. But at some point, my teammate actually told me that I should be mostly kind of sticking back and healing when I'm playing Astronomer. Do you think that he's a good turret healer? I'm kind of.
I could not disagree with that more. I think Astro is terrible healing throughput on his own, and he desperately needs to be an offensive player. Obviously there's a time and place for playing defensive and playing smart, but when a burst opportunity arises, you really need to capitalize it in order to help your team get through those kills.
Yeah.
Do you have a link to your stream anywhere?
Actually, yes, I do. Just a moment. I will get that to you. I'm sorry. For some reason, I thought that you had it, and
I
everybody's going to
googled
hear.
it, but couldn't find it. So.
All right, so I'm going to send it to you over Skype. There we go. All right, and we've just got the match paused. Before, in past episodes when we were doing this, I would actually be in a game doing live commentary over a game right now, and it was really difficult in order to get all of this stuff done. While it's like, oh, I'm trying to fend off of Grimrock, trying to figure out how to get Skype to work with XSplit and all of that stuff.
I mean, I think this is going to work really well. Just being able to pause and rewind a little bit and just go through the matches a little slower.
Oh yeah. Oh, especially that the aspect of if we do want to watch something in slow motion, we can also do that. That's really awesome. Probably gonna start running the series a little bit more like that, and I find the replays to be helpful as kind of giving a general idea of what I should be doing in the future live matches. So, do you have the stream pulled up already?
I do. I'm looking at two revitalizing winds down, and you're glutton about to hit Alchemist.
All right. So that's us paused. I believe we were talking about Astronomer kind of as an offensive, as an offensive character, and
Yes.
I've been kind of thinking about his EX1 increases cast time, I believe it is, right?
Yes, or reduces cast time. It's
Yep.
haste buff.
Yeah, it's a haste buff. So, how can you use that to further yourself as being an offensive person?
Well, I usually rarely use it just to do more damage. But what I do use it for is a bit of recovery and extra throughput that Astro typically lacks. So you can Aurora for what the 40 energy it costs. It actually gives you quite a large heal alongside it, and for the next 5 seconds you attack 25% faster. So you can actually put out a little more damage and get a little more healing out to help your team recover until someone's outs are back up.
Okay. So, would you M1 spam it or M2 spam after it?
Typically I'll M2 spam. I'm rarely going to be in melee range of an enemy in order to Aurora, but for example, 1v1 versus a lot of melees at the end of a match, Aurora comes in really handy because it's a large heal, and because you're in melee range of the opponent almost all the time, you put out quite a large amount of pressure with it.
Yeah. And I was also trying to figure out before. It's like it's actually possible to miss your Aurora if you try and use it on somebody else. So is it a really good idea to always shift click it?
If you're healing for yourself, yeah, absolutely, you have to shift click. I would never do anything else, even for standard sunlights. I will always shift click my own heals. But to heal someone else with Aurora, it's still worthwhile. Just because it's a very large burst heal. It's one of the largest heals in game.
Okay. But if you do miss it, then
But if you do miss, then you're out 40 energy. But the haste buff will still be there. You don't have to hit it to receive the 5 seconds of 25% attack speed, which is still pretty worthwhile.
yeah, you don't have to hit the Aurora in order for you to get the haste buff.
Right.
Okay, that's a good thing to note for kind of newer players. So I guess that's kind of like EX spamming. You did mention in your email about kind of like the best uses of his EX space, and to be honest, I've never used it, so I really don't know anything about his EX space.
Alright, well, his EX space, it's called Sun Swirl, and what it does is, it's essentially just a more steroid version of its normal version, Sunny Lips, except you travel a little further, and it does a bit more damage and healing on the impact location. The best part about it, though, is it resets the cooldown of the normal ability by 75%, so it ends up dropping the cooldown of your space to about 2 seconds, I think.
I think I calculated it once to be 1.25 or something
Yeah,
like that. But yeah,
it's a very small amount,
it's
which
very fast.
which gives Astro great mobility, especially for a melee.
And I find it myself, when I play Thorn all the time, I find it infuriating when the Astro uses his EX space because you're waiting for his space in order to use your ultimate attack. But if he uses EX space, it doesn't count.
Right. It's essentially like there's no outwasted at all, which is pretty nice. Even playing offensively versus any class with an out. For Seekers, for Heralds especially, you can EX space to put out the initial pressure, and when they blow an out to get away, you can still pressure them by jumping out again.
Yeah. So we've seen kind of a bit of my gameplay here, and you've been watching it. What would you say is kind of like a good tip that you would give this Astronomer here?
With the player you have right now, your ults are just being fired just for the sake of having it. It's okay to sit on your ult for a little bit of time. You really just want to be able to have your partner collapse and have that ult just channeling into someone when they have no outs up. I noticed you hit a Glutton with Stone Shield and almost full health with your ult originally, and it really didn't accomplish much.
Yeah.
And then I also saw, since we're talking about energy and some of the EX abilities, I used an Aurora at the top of the screen, and I think it might have been the last round. There's no real need for that. You can take your time, be patient, and just get the initial healing out, and then just save the energy for your ultimate or for a later case.
Ouch. And you probably haven't seen it yet, but I just got caught in a Alchemist ult right there.
Oh, just saw it.
Yep.
That's the type of time when I would, you see as the Glutton was far away from you, if you track, the more aware you are of other people's cooldowns and their abilities, the more you'll get used to it. But since he was a little distance from you and he hadn't used any ons in a while, you can sort of assume that he was going to have rush up. So what you could have done was use your first cooldown or first ability, just drop a Moonstone onto yourself, and then instead of ulting, start Aurora healing yourself. It's actually possible to double Aurora back to back.
Oh, really?
And although you won't get the buff stacked for more than the 5 seconds, it's still a very large shield, so it's a lot of burst healing. I don't do that almost ever unless I'm positive I'll die, in which case the energy's worthless anyways. But it's something to think of and consider.
Mm-hmm. And I actually forgot about this, but I kind of made a informative video about Astronomer's Ultimate, and I forgot to use it at the beginning. I was supposed to use this video before the replays, but I find that right now is probably a good time to start this, so here we go.
I am Astronomer, and this is my laser. It deals 760 damage and heals me for 520. It costs 100 energy to fire this laser for 2 seconds.
I kind of made that up a little bit last second there.
It's pretty nice though, actually. Just spin around the middle.
Yeah. And for people who don't get the reference, that is actually a reference to Team Fortress 2's Meet the Heavy video.
All the Team Fortress videos are real nice.
Oh yeah.
All the meet the.
All right. So despite that distraction, we're going back into this other game. It's against a Gunner and a Ranid, so it's kind of like it's a big tunnel team. I would have to say if the Ranid tries to attack me and the Glutton tries to pull him off, then the Gunner's just going to get free DPS. So what should we do here?
For this is against most DPS teams, I do tend to play very defensive, regardless of the comp I'm playing. So what I would do is I would position myself just around one of the 4 pillars. This is a great map to fight any ranged on because there's so much pillaring available. But you just have to be very aware that a Ranid is able to solo an Astro. A very good Ranid can kill an Astro no problem. So, like, you're playing really well right now. You're max ranging. You're just trying to drop some CC. And you're not letting that Ranid get on you for the initial damage.
Yeah. I'm also seeing that I'm not using my Moonstone 24/7. Should that be something that you use every time it comes off cooldown, or do you think you should save it? I guess it's go ahead.
I really tend to use it almost on cooldown, but I won't use it to the point where as soon as it's off, I'll just drop a stone. I really look for someone to be casting initially. So when you can tell players when they're doing their little strafe cast stance that they have to stop, and if you catch someone mid-cast, there's no way to avoid it, which makes Moonstone a really easy CC to land if you just be patient with it.
Oh yeah, I see what you mean. So I also just now used my ultimate against this team. It's probably not so good of an ability to use. Do you agree with me on that?
Not at all. You really don't need ult versus this team. Earlier you were very low on health. You had the energy. You could have Aurora to help top yourself off a little faster.
Yeah.
You can also use your Sun Swirl, which is a really overpowered ability versus classes with only a few on, such as Ranid. Or even if you just want to pressure Gunner, all he has is Rocket Jump to get away, because he tends to use the stealth just to fire off a blind execute. So you can always Sun Swirl onto the Gunner, and then wherever he jumps, you can just jump on him again and put out a lot of pressure.
Yeah. And there's really no chance that you're going to be moonstoning that granite, more than likely.
Yeah, it's very hard to stone a good Ranid. He's not going to be sitting still enough, and he's not going to be sitting on top of you for too long. When a Ranid will jump on you, you're able to use your Spectre Strike to put a slow debuff on him, which makes it much easier to drop the stone. So
Yeah.
there's always that possibility as well.
Sorry, were you saying the slow buff on your M1?
The slow debuff from your M1, yeah. You get it when you have 4 stacks of the solar energy.
Oh, now I see it, derp.
Yeah.
Yeah, for some reason, yeah, it's also a weaken. Yeah.
Yep. It weakens and slows. It's a really, really OP ability.
Hmm.
Kind of all tied into one.
Yeah, it's one of those abilities that somebody uses it on me, and everybody in the house knows about it because it just makes me that mad.
Yep.
But it's felt good this week to be practicing Astronomer and to be making other people that mad about it.
Absolutely. Astro has a lot of mechanics which aren't necessarily fun to play against.
Yeah. So I guess that kind of leads to the question of spacing in, trancing out. A lot of people actually say that that's a stupid idea.
It depends what you're trying to accomplish. If you're trying to get a lot of damage out, it's a pretty good idea to actually do that. The only issue with it is a trance isn't necessarily the most reliable out. It requires your opponents to play poorly and make a mistake. So if you play against very high quality opponents, you can't just jump in and expect to get out okay. You have to be able to jump in and keep the pressure up long enough that it won't be an issue.
Hmm. Yeah, and most people will probably be expecting you to trance right after that. So
Yeah.
I guess that leaves the other option of trancing and spacing out.
It's very hard to trance in on someone just because the range isn't as long as the range of, I think, even Engineer. So you have to be pretty defensive with it. It is possible though. Like, for example, if someone's hitting you, you're always able to trance and just do a quick swap. But to initialize like the start of a fight or start of a match, it's not really feasible to trance at the start like that.
I see. Let me see. We were talking about trancing in and spacing out, but it also kind of like oh, that's what I was going to say. Sorry. There's also the possibility that you can trance like 2 feet away. Say you space onto somebody, you hit them with your M1, you use all the stacks, and then you trance like 2 feet away, and you hit them twice. I've sometimes seen it. It doesn't really seem that reliable also. So would you say that if you can do it successfully, imagine that you can, that it's actually worth the fact that you've now used all of your outs just to do some damage?
Oh yeah, I'll say absolutely it's worth it. If you calculate the amount of damage that puts out, it's pretty disgustingly large amount for a healer to do, let alone for your damaging partner. That's actually why Double Astro is able to be played in twos, because Astro can put out such stupid amounts of damage even as a healer. So you really want to be able to do that kind of damage and be able to assist your team that much, but you also have to be very careful of not blowing both your outs and getting your trance baited by a good player.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely.
So it's high risk, high reward sort of philosophy, which is honestly a pretty decent mechanic for a game.
Mm-hmm. I guess we can also talk about the isn't it a nerf? Yeah, it's a nerf to Astronomer's M1. How much damage did it actually do before the patch? I think it.
The M1 damage didn't actually get lowered. It was the damage from the buff on the strike. So
Yeah.
back before the patch, it would have been 10, but it would have been at 100 damage extra. So for the initial hit, it would have hit for 220 now. Instead, it hits for 170 prior to power calculations and backstabs.
Yeah. So that's something that you would cover on your videos, the kind of like medallions and traits and stuff. So I kind of want to keep away from that. But is the Mark of the Assassin good for him? I mean, I'm running Meteor, Teleport Medallion, and Mark. Is that a good combo?
It's really all based on your personal play preference. I play with Mark the Assassin personally because my philosophy is that you can always play better and avoid abilities and CC or not die, so that kind of limits the effectiveness of other passive medallions. But where are you ever going to get free damage? So that's just kind of the way I look at things.
Yeah, that's a good point. And I don't think we've pointed this out yet. I've used it a couple of times this game, so it's kind of good to talk about it. If a Seeker hits you with his ultimate, you can actually avoid the final burst damage on it by using your space.
Yep. You can actually avoid the debuff as well from Deadly Injection from the Alk, which I find even more crippling.
Oh yeah, because it's a weaken.
Yeah, it's a long weaken, honestly. It's a long 50% weaken.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, if you jump that, you avoid the damage and the debuff entirely.
Yeah. It gets a little bit difficult to do, in my honest opinion, because of the 0.3 second cast time on his space. I'm actually a little bit taken aback by that because I thought it was 0.2 seconds. Kind of like Ravener's, actually.
Yeah, it's also possible, though, if you have a little harder time with it, you can jump earlier on the debuff, and you can jump into a wall and just jump out and back, but that doesn't really accomplish anything other than avoiding the proc entirely. Versus Ranids, though, I tend to do that a little bit more to avoid the damage, just because I know a good Ranid will always be there to combo his burst.
Oh yeah, exactly right when the burst is about to hit.
Right, so it's not beneficial for me to be material for a longer period of time.
So, I believe Ranid's ultimate actually also does a dot.
It does. It's just like Seekers. They tick down initially, and they do a little bit of damage over time until it explodes.
Yeah.
But the explode's what's really crippling. You can heal through the initial damage, and it's not so bad, especially because most of the good players on these bloodlines will wait until the explosion for their Bane burst.
Yeah. But I guess what I was trying to point out is if you're immaterial for a longer time, that you will actually avoid that dot. But like you say, it's not really that much, and you can heal right through it.
Right, it's almost negligible. I mean, all damage counts. You want to avoid as much as possible, but it's not something that should be so life-threatening that you have to worry too much about it.
Yeah. And we see here, kind of in the beginning of this round, you probably haven't gotten to it yet, but the Alchemist uses her barrier on the Seeker right off, and we try and jump on her. And it doesn't really work all that well. I guess in that situation I probably could have used Moonburst in order to catch up with her, maybe?
I pretty much versus an Alchemist, I will just aim Moonburst at that poor Bloodline all day. With the long cast times already, percentage-based slow effects honestly, they're very unfair. And Astro is one of the only ones in game with casting slow debuff. So what it does is it makes it very easy to trance all abilities from Alchemist, so sleeps and deadly injections become much easier to deal with. And the amount of healing she puts out is just, it drops quite a bit, and she becomes just an easy swap target, easy CC target.
Yeah. And I was also kind of thinking about this composition. We were, I don't know if I'm exactly turret healing. This is kind of a good composition for it, though, because Glutton really wants to be in there.
It is possible to play Astro as a turret healer. I'm not saying it isn't viable. I'm just saying that as Astro, it's not as rewarding as playing Alchemist and just holding down M2, or playing say Herald, who, well, once upon a time Herald wasn't a very offensive healer. His playstyle's changed a little bit, but there are healers that can be successful and will be more successful at doing that than an Astro will.
Yeah.
However, there's not as many healers that can put out the same burst that Astro can. So the way I look at it is just playing something, sort of taking an Astro because he has that type of damage potential, rather than taking him just because he's a healer.
Alright. So, I kind of feel like that's going to be the last replay that we do. We're about 30 minutes in or so. So I'm going to log on to Bloodline Champions and make a 2v2 team with you. If you want to play, we talked earlier about you playing Engineer
All right.
or Vanguard, I believe.
Yep.
Okay. So I'm actually, do you have a team request ready?
Yep. I have one sitting right there.
Oh, there we go. Awesome. Perfect. Okay. So
Are
I'm
you all
going
set to queue, or
I'm sorry, what?
are you all set for the queues?
Yes, I am. And
I think you can't queue Europe. You said, right?
sorry?
You said you can't queue Europe, so just in the U.S.
It's fine. It's just that with 180 ping, I'm probably going to miss some heals, but it's probably fine for the purposes. All right. So I'm
All right.
actually,
Well, I'll let you queue. It's up to you wherever you'd like to queue.
yeah, I'm doing Europe as second,
All right.
secondary or something. I was going to ask earlier about oh, Alchemist. Yes, you were talking earlier about Alchemist kind of has better turret healing, and making the switch from say Herald I was doing at one point to Astronomer, I was really kind of surprised at how little he actually has in terms of actually like pushing a button and helping a teammate. You know, kind of like Alchemist has barrier, so she just pushes a button and now so and so gets automatically a barrier on them or something like that. However, Astronomer doesn't really have that.
Right. Everything on Astro is more of an active ability, and it's really beneficial if you like. Between me and my partners, typically, the easier game is just merely the more control I have. If I can't get enough control out, I end up being too defensive as a player for Astro to really shine or really do anything worthwhile.
Yeah. But if somebody is getting tunneled down, say by a melee, and assuming that your Moonstone doesn't hit, then the only thing that you can do is just try and heal it off, or
It's possible that you can just try and either Aurora heal or just turret heal. Another option is to actually just jump on in there and have that initial heal up your teammate, use the interrupt on, the interrupt from your knockback on your Son of Lips to slow damage a little bit, and feel free to apply the Spectral Strike debuff just to slow damage some. What it also does is it opens you up a little bit as a target, so it potentially peels someone by having them swap to you. But the only problem with that is you have to be very wary that you don't get killed in that process.
yeah, it's certainly you don't want to over peel someone. And of course, also there's that chance in order to get out. I suppose if you jump in and kind of peel on somebody or something like that.
Yeah. Big thing still with trance though is it requires your opponents to play poorly and not be expecting it. You can watch cast times that people have and wait until the very end of it, but with latency and them missing, it is potential that they'll still be able to bait that trance regardless. Just a quick comment about this team. Pomp is very anti-melee, and Stalker is one of the absolute hardest targets to tank as an Astronomer. So,
Yeah, I was kind of looking at that composition saying, Vex, what am I supposed to be doing here?
so I'm going to assume that Stalker will go on you just because that's sort of a Stalker thing, just being an anti-Astro bloodline.
Okay.
So we'll just kind of zone around at the start here, avoid that ability as much as possible, and then just kind of put out some pressure. Alright, so I'm going to chain that to that. And I'm going to start killing Stalker here.
Alright. I'm going to grab the energy.
Alright, just zoning. It's all about being patient. Alright. Feel free to M1 the Stalker here.
Oh, sure. I don't know if that was necessarily a good jump, but at least he hit my trance.
Alright.
So I want to wait for other side in order to use this ult.
Alright, there's his ult. You're going to really want to get me topped off as quickly as possible.
I'm trying to.
Alright. I'm just kind of kiting. don't really have much up anymore though.
Oh,
Yeah.
not sure what killed
this
me.
is, that would just be from Stalker's M2. So what they did there is they just waited to have dual ults, and just because Stalker has such massive damage and he's very able to stop trances, he's just a very hard target to do for Astro.
Yeah.
So what I can potentially do better is I can save my enlarge fee a little bit and just kind of zone around just a little bit at the start again. If you notice, the other side's down, so that makes Pomp a very easy swap target. Got a slow on him for you.
Alright.
Alright, there's the ult. So what you could have done there with EX space would have been very good too.
Oh, okay.
Just ult's not very needed versus team.
So I'm gonna use Aurora.
Yep. Alright, there's CC, just waiting out this ult as much as we can.
And I'm seeing how quickly that's topping us off.
Yep.
Using Aurora just automatically just kind of gave us full recovery health, and don't really have anything to heal anymore.
Yep. So when that time arises, just feel free to start damaging. And when you are in melee range, just be wary of that silence from that pomp.
Mm-hmm. Using very slow M1s in order to avoid that. And there's the other side, so there we go.
Yep, very well played. A goal I usually try and shoot for as Astro is to aim for about 1,000 control each round. So that's usually just a large amount of stones and a large amount of moon shadow from Moonburst.
Yep. I guess I'm a little bit afraid of using my Moonstone because of the Stalker's puncturing strike.
Because of how strong he is, yeah. I completely understand.
You can just dodge right out of my Moonstones without even moving, seriously. And then, of course, he keeps on black daggering me.
Yep. Alright, they grabbed energy there.
Yeah. Looks like they're just doing the space into puncturing strike combo here. And
Yep. Alright, so Pomp's a good target right now.
just need a little bit more energy.
There's
I'll
the
use Aurora.
Alright, just jumping in. Gonna try and keep pressure up as much as possible.
Oh, that was a bit predictable. Ow. I was about to trance there.
Alright.
So we're kind of playing like
We're playing
turtle
very
style.
defensive right now. Just there's really not much going on or much that we need to do here.
No. We gotta try and stone the pomp at north.
There's the ult, so just kind of be real defensive about it as much as possible. Alright?
Alright. I'm probably gonna die, yep. I didn't shift heal myself enough. I prioritized you. But I suppose that could be good. In this matchup, I feel like you had the advantage until I said that.
No, I'm not the best engineer, but as that low amount of health, it's a little hard to be able to avoid such a high velocity spell such as Mind Transfer.
Yeah. It really is.
Plus, I wasted my ult absolutely entirely there.
To finish off the
Kinda.
stalker?
For the pop, I was kind of hoping he would be out of this other side a little closer to me.
So the stalker used his cloak.
Yep, and grab the energy from him too. Alright, just taking a lot of damage here, so
Yep, sorry, I couldn't get it to you.
as fast as you can, just get me topped off.
We're gonna use space in order to do that.
Just cutting, trying to.
I think you're out of my healing range. I'm trying to predict where you're gonna
Yep.
go beforehand.
Just trying to zone as much as I can. There we go. We should be able to recover a bit here.
And this should be the pump.
Perfect.
There we go.
Spelling you out of that. I'm just going to range away, and he should be coming towards me.
Yes.
Alright, so if you want to
He's
F1
coming for me.
yourself.
Oh, I thought he was going to jump on you. I've already used it.
He actually already wasted it.
Oh.
Alright, so I'm going to pull him into a tractor beam. Alright, so you should just feel free to chop him there.
Yeah.
Good. Very good recovery. Yeah, when a partner like me just kind of ranges away and tries to do their own thing, best thing you can do is just, instead of like just chasing and putting yourself out of position, you can feel free to put on pressure to whoever's closest to you or to just off CC their targets.
Kind of to split them up in order
Right.
to reduce pressure on you.
Mm-hmm. You really have to be kind of trustworthy of your partner that he's not going to make that big of a mistake.
Alright. So she already used her other side.
Yep. So I'm going to set down, just try and put some pressure into the stalker.
And
he's not
for
pretty
anybody
energy
watching,
right
that was
now.
another Aurora from me.
Just watch out for the pop. So just kind of, we'll be zoning around for a little bit, playing a little more expensive.
Moonstone Stalker.
Alright, bringing Stalker in on us. Alright, so I'm going to jump away. If you want to just top me off here.
Oh, ghosted.
Alright. Alright.
And this should be game right here.
Yep.
So right there, I just moonstoned into Moonburst. I see a lot of astronomers doing that sort of thing, is they break their own Moonburst, or Moonstone with the burst. Why would you do that?
I do it as well. What Moonstone does is it is a long CC, but Moonburst allows you to actually kill that person. What you can do, actually what I do often is, if you look at the cast time on Moonburst, it's 0.7 seconds, and the Moonstone ability is 2.7 second CC. So if you want the full damage and the full CC rotation, if you're just using Moonburst as a CC to slow cast and throughput, what you can do is you just count off the 2 in your head, or you can count at the top for 2 seconds, just watching the timer. So it ends up being a pretty good CC, but most astronomers will do that just because they need just a short amount of CC coming from that moon stone, and then the burst just change that a little bit longer than it would otherwise.
Alright. Yeah, that kind of makes sense. Your voice kind of like went a little bit robot, so I'm just checking on different stuff to make sure that my connection isn't screwing up or anything.
I'd imagine it's mine. I don't have the best computer in the world. I play on a crummy little laptop, so.
Oh. Yeah, I used to have a laptop that didn't make me, it made me rage every so often. Alright.
So Grimrog is a very hard healer to kill as an Astro just because he has so much on-demand mobility, but Engineer counters him pretty well just due to being able to take out that totem. So we're going to see how aggressive this one is and how much he wants to just jump in on us, and we'll either swap between him or just kind of tunnel him down all game.
Okay. What do I do about the Thorn?
We'll see when he jumps in. We'll grab the energy real fast. But we can either off-CC him or we can tunnel him down. Grimrog just wasted. Alright, so there's an out from Grimrog. Grimrog is no outs right now. So we're just going to go ahead and...
Oh, silence.
Nope, no problem. Just going to zone around a bit. You getting topped off here?
Sure thing.
Awesome. Alright, so that was a double up from both of them there.
Actually, good play, Paul.
Alright, so we're in a corner right now. This isn't at all where we want to be.
Certainly not. Should I use my ult?
He's out of line of sight though, so put some damage on. As soon as that's down, feel free to ult.
Alright.
Oh.
So what happened there was the Grimrock decided to jump in and he DPS'd you down, and I wasn't able to get my ultimate up fast enough, or what was that?
At the end there, we got cornered, we got outzoned. That's just going to happen occasionally from time to time. What you can do at the start, when they both jumped in on me, you can feel free to jump into the fray too. The Grimrock's not going to want to be there. He's not as strong of a melee as Astro is after that burst is down. So you can jump in, we can pressure the Grimrock, have him blow his Grimgo's gate, or we can turn in and just pressure Thorn there, and I can dispel his shield.
Oh, that's a good thing to know is...
Alright, line for Moonburst. There you go.
Nicely timed.
Alright, we'll kill the Thorn out of this.
Oh, I did not time that very well.
I'm going to CC Thorn here. You can get me topped off. Alright,
Gotcha.
just jumping away. I'm going to try as best I can.
Thank you.
Yep. Alright, I'm silenced right now. Oh,
Oh no, don't die!
you got me.
CC.
Did that happen?
Yeah. So
Don't
twice
worry
I
about
hit
canceling your trance there. You can feel free to just wait that out.
Yeah.
But, what were you saying?
I was saying I hit Thorn's shield twice. I was trying to figure out, can you actually space out before the roots hit?
You can, but you have to, like, go into, you have to melee and then immediately do it. There's no downtime in between.
Yeah, I don't
So,
remember what...
it's better to just wait and be a little more patient and then just, instead of having to jump it. But it is possible if you're curious.
Got the Thorn.
Alright, he's gonna root Sinner should. Alright, Grimrock is no out, so we want to jump on him.
Let's CC there a bit. I completely wasted that. Okay, so...
I'm playing very defensively right now.
Yes.
I really can't do all the damage on my own, so the more you want to be offensive. Yep.
I was about to say, yeah, we are being kind of defensive, or at least I was. So I'm going to work on that right now. Trying not to be as defensive. Now, I kind of have a feeling I might be able to pull this out because I have my ultimate. But
I'm not going to discourage you, but I'll tell you right now, I lose to Finlev one-on-one. He is Grimrock, so having a Thorn back him makes it really difficult.
Okay. So yeah, I'm just going to give up then.
Yep. Yeah, playing with an engineer, you can be a little more offensive because I have Shrink and long CC to help heal for you as well. So you don't need to be as reserved of a player. You can sort of throw yourself into the fray and it's okay.
Yep. I guess I was kind of having the feeling that I wasn't healing fast enough, but of course that means I wasn't giving off any pressure, which means I wasn't healing fast enough. So it's kind of like a vicious cycle.
Yeah. Once you start falling behind, like Astro's very momentum based. So once you gain the lead, it gets exponentially easier to just keep putting out pressure. But once you lose it, it's the same thing. It gets harder and harder to recover. So the longer you wait, the worse it is. Obviously, there's always a time to play defensive and a time to recover, but there always has to be a turnaround. You just can't play defensive the whole game and expect to succeed.
Yeah, probably not. So if I do find myself falling behind, that can be turned around by, say, a moonstone into just jumping in as soon as the moonstone hits and pressuring somebody else in order to put them on the defensive. Like
Yeah,
months ago.
absolutely.
Okay.
A hard swap like that is always going to be good. Another possibility is whoever's putting out a lot of pressure onto you, if they're on you, for example, you can always just turn and hit them and then trance and then hit them again and just put in a little bit of pressure, get them to play more defensive.
Yeah.
Because if the other team's defensive, it doesn't matter if you're defensive or not. Actually, don't play Vanguard this game. Change it up a bit.
Okay. I think we're going to do maybe one more game as me for Astronomer, and then maybe 1 or 2 games, depending on how it turns out, with you as Astronomer, and then I think that's when we're going to wrap it up.
All right, that sounds good.
Okay. Oh, this is the same team from before, wasn't it? Did we
Yep,
win
this
or
is
lose?
the we won that, but it wasn't the funnest match in the world. I know as an Astro, regardless of who the stalker is, it's a miserable time to play against.
Yeah, we just played that zoning game with them.
Well, as Vanguard, I'm a little less durable than Melee. At 45 seconds, I'm going to jump in and snag the energy, so...
Okay.
Comp's going to silence. Do you want to swap the pop here?
Yep. And I'm going to try and top off a bit.
I'm going to give you a little help here with heals.
I hope this doesn't bounce. Yes, it did.
Can you give me top off?
Yep. I use Aurora
Alright.
for that.
Alright, just top yourselves off.
There we go. Ah, shoot. Wasn't able to space out in time. I'm starting to get a lot more used to this stalker here and predicting when she's going to use puncture and strike, so I was able to transit that one time. Just wasn't enough.
Ah. Yeah, honestly, when they just start walking in very slowly on you for the puncturing strikes, it just takes a little bit of time to get used to it. Even trancing it doesn't really matter. It's just, with trancing it, he doesn't get that free M2 into you or the free CC from it.
Yeah. I've actually had times before where my trance will move me like 2 inches. What causes that?
It's where your mouse is based.
Yeah. It's,
So, that's one of the other benefits of shift healing.
is because you don't have to have your mouse in the center of the
Right.
screen.
Alright, there's the ult already. Stalker's just not world's funnest bloodline to play against.
Oh, yeah.
Was not meant for him.
There's the ult again.
Yep.
I need to predict my trance, so now I'm out of outs.
There's the ult from Pomp as well. Yeah, not really much needs to be done from the Pomp. Just Stalker can do what he does versus an Astronomer team.
It seems like she's just turret healing.
Yeah, that's successful way to play actually with a stalker.
Hmm.
When I play with a stalker, just based on being Astro and being used to playing like that, I do go offensive and we can kill someone in very fast manners.
Yeah. I'm gonna try and jump on her a little bit more.
Oh, there's the other side down.
This cloak should come off.
Alright, so as soon as Pomp's out, I'm gonna ult into her.
Do you know where the pump went?
Pomp is in mid right now, but yeah.
And Stalker is just so hard to get off of your tail. There was a lot of times when I was almost literally just trying to out-heal it because I didn't feel like I had anything that I could use against it.
There really isn't a whole lot of advice I can give for playing against the Stalker. It's something that at character select screen is very hard to overcome. Um, Depending on your comp, you can always kill the Stalker and just try and up pressure him and prevent him from being so defensive or being so offensive like he usually is. But the momentum he gains is very easy, and it's very easy to have to go defensive versus him. You don't have the option.
Yeah, I suppose there were a couple of times when I had my solar charge up and I just didn't go. I just didn't M1 back. It comes
Right.
up every 10 seconds.
Yeah, and not to mention, he didn't. I noticed he didn't really bait your trances. He wasn't the most skilled of a player. So since you're able to trance, you can always use your solar energy, hit him, and then trance, then hit him again, and there's a little more damage into him.
Hmm.
I didn't play that as well as I could have as Vanguard. It's been a very long time since I played that thing. But what I can do a little better is land my Demoralize onto him to help heal and stop some of that damage.
Oh, yeah, because it blocks his M1 and his M2.
Right.
I kind of get a little bit confused. His M2 is the one that slows people down, right?
His
And
M2, it's slow. It gives him a movement speed buff, and it increases his damage by 20%.
all right. And his E is the one that turns you into a ghost.
Yeah, his E is the Black Dagger, which when I was playing as Engineer, actually, I found out you can't dispel it with Shrink.
Now that's interesting.
Yeah, because I guess you're sort of in another world that there isn't actually a character there for me to mouse over.
Huh. So I guess
Yeah, I don't know if that's intended or what, but we're a little surprised at that.
yeah, even Igniter's Living Flame, I'm pretty sure you can EMP him out of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I realized a while ago that apparently you can also shrink device a Nomad's Tornado, which kind of
Yep.
doesn't make any
Even
sense.
though like you're physically out of the map, you can still remove it with it.
Yeah. So I guess in terms of that game, um, was it also kind of like the map choice? Was it?
I absolutely detest that map. I hate that map, Bakos, and Dornswag. So out of my 4 downloads, those 3 will be indefinitely downloaded. The way I pick maps on Astro is I'll pick the ones that have good pillaring, unless I'm playing with a nomad or range myself. So I look at, trying to think of the names. I look at Wellister Gone. It's there's 2 pillars near the middle of the map, so it makes grabbing the energy a little more accessible. I also play with Django a lot. With Django, the Sunken Temple.
Yeah.
It's a small map with 2 very large pillars next to the energy, and then just do Baku out of it being same type thing. There's walls near the energy. It's a very open map though, so for playing with Vanguards who need a lot of range to roam, or playing with ranged bloodlines, it's also good. So that's one you'll see in threes tournaments a lot. Everyone tends to pick Baku.
Yeah. I suppose since you're playing Astronomer for this next game, what I'm probably going to do is if I'm picking the maps, I'll switch with you and let you pick the maps. I don't know if you can do that with 2v2s, but we'll try.
I think we can.
and I'll take a look at your map choices and kind of give people a chance at looking at what you choose as an astronomer, because you play astronomer pretty much like all of your
Pretty much
games.
exclusively, yeah.
Yeah. So I have to assume that from somebody who plays that much astronomer, that you kind of have the right map choices. Women would
Well,
have
I
to
mean,
assume that.
right, and things are certain options. For example, Nomad used to be world's most broken bloodline versus astronomer. A long time ago,
Hmm.
back when Astro didn't have the teleporting trance, he had a blind for a trance.
Oh yeah, it was it was an AOE blind around the Astro, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And it actually gave a much greater movement speed weapon than it does now. But in that patch, Nomad absolutely destroyed poor Astronomer. So what we would do is we would pick maps with obnoxious pillars. And for example, Temple of Sheolx has these two staggered pillars in the middle of the map, which for a lot of Nomads made it pretty miserable to play against.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm picking map 2. So right now, I have all 4 downvotes used and all 3 upvotes. So first one I have is Kojo. It's a pretty small map. It's just really easy to move around. There's good pillaring on the houses, but there's a little collision issues occasionally. You can swap this one with Shrine of Arenshin, but that's actually downvote right now because I was playing with a Nomad the other day.
Okay.
Then, like I said, we have Wajanga, which I thumbs up, and I also thumbs up Well of Sirgan, just for the pillaring. Am I playing Astro this game, or are you?
Oh, shoot.
Just making sure I got this right.
Yes. I've gotten so used to auto picking them that, yeah, and I'm gonna play Thorn, which is my best bloodline.
Alright.
I was about to
I have
say.
an Ingi and an Alk, which makes Rancor a very easy target.
Mm,
However, Ingi, if he flamethrowers my trance, it makes me a pretty easy target as well. So I'll call out when that type of situation arises, and I'll need treacherous roots if they're up.
all right.
But if not, we're pretty much going to exclusively focus as Alchemist and kind of just do some things which aren't exactly fair.
Oh, okay. So I kind of like spacing in with my Thorn, so I'm just gonna do that.
Yep,
Hope
that's
you don't
absolutely
mind.
fine.
I noticed you.
Zoning, pillaring him, dropping stone on right there. So I'm hoping for a dispel from that Alec, but didn't come. So just because he's in range, just going to put out some pressure.
I'm applying a weaken to the Alchemist over there. I'm just gonna jump out of here.
Alright, so Alec's open now. There's a trance. And I'm going to try and land that buff to slow us down. So Ingi's going to be close to ult now. So I'm just going to try and zone around as best as I can until that. Alright, so Ingi just blew out, so that means he's a pretty good target.
Switching over to Alchemist since you used Barrier.
Ingi once again is going to be a little closer to ult. Yep, there we go.
I was actually trying to get a little bit in front of you in order to use my shield, though. Right there.
Alright, I'm going to drop a stone in there. Alright, we're going to kill the Alc out of this.
Sure thing. And there we go.
Yep.
Except he's still got his...
Your clanmates.
Oh yeah, they are.
Alright, and like I said, my goal usually is around 1,000 control, and I got over that, so mission complete.
Yep. And 50% of it is stone, so really cool.
Yep. That Alc, though, is just playing Mouse 2 hero, so if he plays a little more offensive, it's going to be a little more difficult, but he's also going to be in a easier position for me to swap to.
Alright then.
Alright, so Clarity's down on the Alc, so if you want to jump in on him, that's an option.
Alright then. And also Barrier. That's pretty good.
Perfect.
Gonna E the...
Alright, got bonus and sleeps down, so he's pretty dead here. Grabbing a meter on him. There we go.
The ulti, which I didn't need to do.
Nope. Made you
roll.
feel good, though, right?
Just making sure that he's dead.
Yeah, the thing I really like to do with Alchemist as Astro is just because of how debilitating Moonburst is on anyone, let alone such a slow casting Bloodline. I like to wait until his only dispels down and then put the Moonburst into him rather than forcing it with the debuff on him.
Yeah.
So it's always just easy zoning phase. And then, alright, so John Gover is a really good target right now, even though he's barrier up. Because he blew all the CC, except for Shrink. There we go. So I'm going to CC Alk here.
I'm gonna chain it up.
Oh, again. Oh,
Apparently
you're
not.
both late.
I'm gonna jump on the
I'm going to
other.
swap now.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
There we go.
Prancing out of that. I'm going to roar here and try and top myself off. I'm going to drop a stone on Alk to slow heals. Missed that, though.
I'm gonna pull everybody into this corner. Apparently I got Alchemist.
Alright, so Inji's a good target. I'm going to stone Alk here. Got him. So out of this we can swap Alk.
Oh really? Okay.
You know, that works as well.
I was gonna use the ultimate on the engineer because he had used his jetpack already. Now, I kind of figured that there's two things that we can do here. We can either play another game, or we can go back onto this replay and kind of watch your play and look a bit into it, or we can maybe look at one of your replays if you have one in your showcase.
I can see my replays. I think watching that one actually worked quite well. If you want to save that and pull that up.
Sure thing. I just saved it, and it should be in my profile right here. It's not going to download for a little while. Maybe we could do... Let me see. I'm actually going to check on how long this Skype conversation has been going for. For some reason, I cannot find the time.
Hour 6 minutes.
An hour 6 minutes. Okay. So if you wanted to, we could just try and see if this replay is going to load. We could just do one more game as you as Astronomer.
Right, that works.
Okay.
And you want me to sort of narrate what I'm doing then and why I'm doing it? Would that be for the best?
That might be for the best, because people watching me playing Thorn doesn't help them that much with
Alright.
Astronomer. We also did talk about doing double Astro earlier.
It's possible. I'm notorious for it.
Mm-hmm. And the team's name is Don't Hate on Vex. So we're already...
I figured people watch this, so just a little disclaimer. I mean, don't hate the poor guy. He just plays his game.
Yeah. And I'm gonna see if that replay loads or not. What is it? Alright, so... Oh. Well, the replay did load. If you want to cancel the queue, and we can go ahead and look at that one.
Alright, we can.
Alright, awesome. I don't know if I have my screen up already, but there we go. Okay. It is going to be a little bit of a problem because are you watching it on Skype or are you going to watch it on, whatchamacallit, the stream?
Well, I was going to watch it on the stream. Skype's still frozen right now. If you want to reload it one more time, we can just try it from there. I have both pulled up, so.
Alright. Let me see if this works. Alright, so now it's moving like that, so... Okay.
Alright, yep. I think we're good. I think I should be able to see it on your Skype now. It might freeze again, but we'll see.
Yeah, and if it does, I'll probably just reload it one more time or something like that. So, right here at the start, we're playing the zoning game.
Yep. I'm just next to the pillar right now just because they have an engineer, so I'm usually kind of around him. I drop a stone on the side. That's my favorite way to initialize. And then from there, like you mentioned earlier, I put a moonburst into him. It's just a little bit slow. Oh, there we go.
Yeah. So you decided to jump onto the Alchemist when she still had Barrier on her and use your M1. Was that for the weaken?
Yeah, originally I did that just to put out a little pressure to stop a heal. Just there's no real downside to me doing that. I took a little bit of damage, I lost a little bit of true health, but if something good would have came out of it, it would have been worth it. Nothing really poor happened, so it wasn't really too detrimental. It would have been fine for me to just sit back and wait and play patiently, though.
Yeah. I was also kind of noticing a little bit of my recovery health was a little bit low through this game. So, do you tend to just kind of give Thorns their own space to self-heal themselves or something?
It's not even Thorns. Just the way I play Astro. I sort of measure: is it better for me to put out my damage, or is it better for me to help top someone else off?
I see. And
So it's sort of like a trade. Like we're taking their health, but they're taking ours as well. And hopefully we're going to be able to coordinate our burst a little bit better than anyone else.
yeah. So that's something that may not work kind of in the lower levels, but in higher up levels where people tend to be able to pay to take care of themselves, it really pays off to be doing more damage than healing or something similar to that. Is that what you're
Yeah.
saying?
You need a higher ratio of damage to healing than you do at a lower level to be more of a competitive and successful player. So you should be able to do almost a comparable amount of damage to healing. I'm trying to see what I end up at this end of this match. Yeah, I ended up 4,000 to 7,000 or so. So a little more than half.
I see. And of course, also that goal of 1,000 control coming
Yep.
from using your moonstones pretty much all the time.
Yep, Moonstone does quite a bit. Another one, Moonburst, supplies a very large amount if the person has to spam cast during it. Then you have very minor amounts from your M1 slow and your knockback from your Sun Lips. Actually, right here on the stream, when we jumped on the Alk originally, I did something very poorly. I was next to you with the weaken debuff up, and I wasn't going to be able to break that. What I should have done is I should have stepped out and waited till the deadly injection exploded, and then came back in to help put out more pressure.
Oh. Yeah, but Thorns can take that, so it's probably fine.
Yeah, the only thing, it's not that you can't take the damage, it was that it would be lowering your damage output as well.
Oh, you mean,
And-
yeah, that it put the weaken on me.
Yeah, the weaken debuff is what I was worried about. Damage was negligible just because we were so far ahead in momentum at that point.
I see what you mean.
So for now, like, I have the third round starting. I'm trying to think if anything important happened or impressive happened in this round. But I think it's just standard zoning, waiting, and he jumps in as always.
Yeah.
Yeah, see there, instead of initiating with a Moonstone, I just jumped in on him, started putting out pressure.
And it looks like you kind of save your... I mean, you were saying that you save your moonstones, but you mostly use them on healers. So it's kind of like a CC the healer, DPS down the DPSer. Kind of a...
Right, and there's always the possibility to, you can use it as a defensive heal too. Just, you know, stop the heals or just whoever's on you, stop them from doing anything. What I like about using on healers is, especially Alex, is it forces them to use barrier, which opens them up as a swap target.
Yeah. Okay. So I think that's us for today. I just wanted to kind of look at this replay, and we've gone kind of maybe a little bit over the hour that I kind of like to keep it at. I wanted to remind people to go check out Vexation's channel at V for Vexation, YouTube / V for Vexation or something like that.
Yeah.
I was actually kind of a little bit confusing because when I first saw it, I was like, what? What does that mean? Anyway, so big thank you to Vex for coming on. Thank you very much. You've been very patient and very helpful.
Well, I'm glad to be a help, and I thank you for having me.
And I'll see you guys next time.